This is Texans TV. Texans Extra Points is sponsored by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans, and by your Houston area Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Amity, the official business bank of the Houston Texans.
Let's talk for what we got. Need some juice, need some energy, and just do your job. Play some ball. Here comes pressure. Who's going to go down? Touchdown, Houston. Rock and roll.
Welcome into the most offensive Texans Extra Points that you're going to see this season. That's because all we're going to do today is talk about the offense for the Houston Texans. My name's Drew Dougherty. I'm your host, and I've got my good friends Deepi, Sidhu, as well as Sean Pendergast with me. Sean, of course, Sports Radio 610, and Deepi works for the Houston Texans. Good to see you both. Y'all ready for another fun season?
Ready for an offensive show, yes.
Offensive show, indeed. We're going to get all into that. The run game, the pass catchers, and, of course, the quarterback. But we start things off talking about this offense and talking about the quarterback and what he recently said. He believes, Davis Mills, that the Texans can shock some folks in 2022. And that's a good thing, according to the head coach, Lovie Smith. He wants that from his field general.
Yeah, I want him to have confidence. That's all he's really saying is that, guys, we've been working hard. I think we're a pretty good football team. And if we do well, you're not picking us to win much, right? I say no one here is. So it's going to probably be a shock if that happens. So I think it's no more than that. And you're the quarterback, you really have a pulse on what you're seeing each day. I think we're going to be pretty good this year.
So if indeed the Texans shock the world as Mills wants to, Nico Collins is probably going to be playing a big role in that. Second-year pass catcher has quite the rapport with his quarterback, and the offensive coordinator, Pep Hamilton, likes what he sees and wants to see more of it.
I expect that between Davis and Nico and the time that they'll put in out here on the practice field, that there should be a high level of trust between the two, and we should be able to feature Nico, all right, in situations where it's man coverage, where he can use his body, his size, his God-given ability to make plays.
And the Texans also want to have a more rugged ground game. They were dead last in the NFL in yards per carry in 2021. That number, 3.4 yards per, must rise in 2022 and beyond.
I think thinking back on last year, we probably ran the ball the best in the Chargers game. And, it really allowed the offense to flow throughout the game and be really efficient, passing the ball as well, because the run sets up the pass. So it's going to be exciting when guys like Damien step up and are able to run the ball. And he has a lot of help from the offensive line, who performed well.
Okay, so if this offense is going to be better in 2022 than it was last year, DP, I'll start with you. Davis Mills, complete the sentence. Davis Mills is better at
getting wins for this team. I hate to put wins just on the quarterback because obviously it's a full team sport, but I think he's got to generate enough points and make some of those fourth quarter comebacks and make some of those tough plays that really lead to more wins this year. Now, of course, he's not going to be judged solely based on the wins and losses of this team, but if this team can generate a few more wins and it's because of how he's playing on the field and he can spread the ball around in this system, he's got a year under his belt. So it's not the rookie season anymore where you can say, oh, he was a rookie, he's still going through the growing pains. It's kind of a what have you done for me lately league. So I think if he's able to translate what we've seen this offseason into the games, and those can translate into wins, I think it's going to be a successful year for Davis.
All right, your turn at it. Davis Mills is better at...
Deepi kind of mixed it into her answer there. I think it's spreading the football around. Yeah. Last year, Brandin Cooks had 130 targets, and the next closest person was light years away from that. I don't know who it was, but it was way behind Brandin Cooks. I don't know, Brandin Cooks is a really good receiver. I don't know if he's a force feed it to him kind of guy like a Devontae Adams or a DeAndre Hopkins. He's really, really good. I think they got to get the tight ends involved. I think they got to get the running backs involved in the pass game. I think just a more even distribution in the passing game will not only benefit the Texans, but I think show some maturation from Davis Mills.
Okay, slightly different question. So I just asked you, Davis Mills is better at. So a successful year for Davis Mills involves what?
I think a successful year means at the end of the year we're looking back at it and saying, okay, this was success for Davis Mills. I think making it so that this team is not thinking of taking a quarterback in the first round of the draft.
Yeah.
I think if this team, if they're looking at other positions with those 2 first-round picks that they have, it means that Davis Mills has shown them something significant in 2022. So I think, to me, that's individually for Davis Mills, that's success. If he's the unquestioned starter for this team, whatever that entails going into 2023.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I think he just has to show that he's undeniably the quarterback of this team, because while there were no questions this offseason, those questions could pop up again after this second year is over, because if the Texans are losing, if they're not getting the wins that he needs to get, they'll be picking at the top of the draft again. And there are a lot of quarterbacks there. So he's got to make sure that all that attention is off those quarterbacks. I think the wins will help with that. Obviously, if the Texans win more games, they won't be picking so high. And then they'll have the faith that he is the guy to lead them into the future. So, I mean, he really just has to state, like Sean said, that undeniably he's going to be the quarterback of this team.
For now, this is Davis Mills' team. So let's take a look at a Telestrator involving John Harris, looking back at some of the good things that the quarterback did in 2021.
Welcome into Texans Telestrator, presented by BMW. I am John Harris, and it's time to look at Davis Mills to get excited about the things that Davis can do. But we're going to start off showing one of the things I don't think people give him enough credit for, and that's his mobility in the pocket. This is against Seattle, and you're going to see Brevin Jordan right here, Davis there, obviously at center. Brevin's going to come work the back of the end zone here, but Davis isn't looking at that right away. What he wants is Brandin right here. But watch him moving out of the pocket. He's going to fake this snap, play action. He's going to set up, and then boom, he's going to get immediate pressure. Well, guess who that is? That's Rasheem Green, now a Texan. Anyway, Davis is going to slide up and then slide out of the pocket. And you see these guys all here on Brandin. Watch him move and then avoid the tackle and then throw the dart to Brevin in the back of the end zone. A little bit of mobility, just enough to get out of the pocket and make some things happen right there.
Mills fakes the give, looking, stepping up. Davis scrambling to the right side. Davis throwing back of the end zone, wide open. Brevin Jordan, touchdown, Houston. All he does is catch touchdowns.
Yes, Davis can throw on the run. He's proven that, but we all know what Davis can do. His ball placement accuracy, especially outside the numbers, is very good for a young quarterback. We're going to look at this against the San Francisco 49ers, and he wants this guy right here, Brandin Cooks. So he's an empty, no backs. Back is out here with Rex, and Brandin's just going to take this advantage right here, one-on-one against K'Wan Williams, and Davis sees it. But now it's just a matter of if Brandin takes that thing up the sideline, he's really limiting this space where Davis can throw the ball. It's not this, it's this box. So can Davis put in that box? Well, he's about to show you. If Brandin wins, throw it to a spot, and once he throws it to that spot, then it is right there. It's exactly where you want it. He's got room to the sideline. He throws it into one spot where Brandin can make the catch, and away you go.
Mills calls for the ball. Here's the snap. Davis throwing downfield to his left, wants Cooks and has him for a first down, out of bounds inside the 22-yard line.
One of the big steps that Davis has to make is to be great down in the red zone, but his ball placement accuracy is pretty good down there. This is against New England back in Week 5, and the Texans have 3 different tight ends on the field. You can see Davis right here. He's going to make a fake right there to his running back, and then the 3 tight ends are going to split like this, and Davis essentially is going to have to make the right pick and then make the right throw. That's something he's able to do as he gets to the top of his route here. He's got the tight end right there. And now as you see him make this throw, what he does brilliantly is even though the tight end's running this way, he sort of back shoulders the ball so that he can throw it away from this defender that's coming. So he throws it back to the inside where his tight end is able to make the catch, a great catch at that.
Long count, Mills to throw over the middle and caught for a touchdown, Houston. And the Texans get on the board first. What a drive.
Davis puts all that together, and we'll be very happy in January of 2023.
Hand off to the rookie Pierce. Little cut to the left now, straight ahead, 35, 30, 25, and ridden down across the 21-yard line. Big pop there by Pierce.
Damien Pierce got some folks excited in his first time touching the rock, 20 yards, and he punished some people doing it. That's Sean Pendergast, Deepi, Sidhu, Drew Dougherty. No punishment right now for you, hopefully. And let's do an over-under. An over-under, Sean, I don't know if you're familiar with this, sometimes in betting circles.
Yeah.
But anyways, over-under. The Texans run game, which only got 3.4 yards a carry last season. This year they'll get 4.2 yards. Now it's a 0.8 difference. It's almost a yard difference. More or less than that? What do you think?
I think as they say here in the gambling community, they like to say that's a good number.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good number. It's right around there. I'm going to say under only because that's a big jump when you think about it. That's a big jump. There's still a little bit of shuffling going on around the interior of the offensive line, which I'm much more concerned about than the bookends, Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard. So I just think that's a big leap. They're going to be better at running the football, I think, and Damien Pierce, I know we're going to talk about him. He'll have a lot to do with that.
Damien Pierce is built differently. Okay, we saw what he did that first game and everything else since, but he's getting a different reaction from his teammates, and it's universally positive. I was talking to Thomas Booker, one of his fellow rookies. He's a defensive lineman. And I asked him, just, unrelated to Pierce, I said, which teammate amps you up? And almost always they say someone else, a veteran in their own position group on their side of the ball. So he's a defensive lineman. He said Damien Pierce gets him amped up, gets him going. And that's not the only guy that said that. It's really, really uncanny, the reaction he's getting, and you saw it in that post-game interview after that first game. He's a fun guy to root for, fun guy to watch, and he's there's a lot of reasons that he's exciting people, right, Sean?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think you saw it in those 5 runs that he had in the game against the Saints. None of them were stuffs at the line of scrimmage or negative runs. The shortest one, I think, was 6 yards.
Yeah.
The longest was 20. He didn't get 5 carries for 49 yards, and one of them was a 46-yard run, and that was just a bunch of crashes into the line. He showed vision, he showed burst, he showed an ability to plant that foot and get upfield, behind the blocking scheme. When there was very little space, he found the space. He ran guys over at the end. He was doing a lot of things we haven't seen in about 7 or 8 years from running backs here.
And he punished guys when he was pass blocking.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch. I love watching those highlights. But, I just think he creates yards where we previously didn't see any.
Yeah.
You see other guys, in that same formation, and they do get stuffed. It's hard for them to get some yards. But for some reason, he, like Sean said, has got that vision, got that patience, and he just creates yards and creates plays. So he has been a lot of fun to watch.
Deepi,
and he's a great nickname, too.
Yeah, Deepi likes DP.
Yeah,
Damien Pierce. All right.
100%.
Hey, a little bit. You guys like trivia. So the Texans have now played in many stadiums. They just played in SoFi against the Rams. So now they did that one. There's only 2 more stadiums in the NFL in which they've not played a game. Which are they? We'll have the answer a little bit later on here in Texans Extra Points.
Mills, quick pass. Nico at the 5. Nico in the end zone. The dagger. Touchdown, Houston.
That was one of the fun scores last season. Davis Mills to Nico Collins against the Chargers. Texans win that game. Drew Dougherty, Deepi Sidhu, Sean Pendergast here on Texans Extra Points. And I'm going to start with you, Deepi. Will Brandin Cooks finally go to a Pro Bowl? All the guy does is pump out 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Doesn't matter his quarterback. Still never been.
Yeah, I mean, he should have gone last year. He should have gone the year before. He's put together all these 1,000-yard receiving seasons. But I think when the Texans don't win a lot of games, there's not a lot of attention on him, unfortunately for him. But, I mean, he's due. I think people have taken notice of what he's able to do in this offense with different quarterbacks. And, I'm really rooting for him to get to go to a Pro Bowl this year. I think that he probably should have gone to one already by now. But hopefully the Texans can get more wins. And there's a little bit more spotlight on Davis Mills than there was last year. I think, of course, all eyes are on Brandin Cooks.
And, yes, I want wins. I'm not worried about his Pro Bowl campaign. I'm just saying.
But wins might equal more Pro Bowl.
More attention. No, the Pro Bowl pays attention to teams that overachieve. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be really tough. I would love to see it because I think he is I have great respect for Brandin Cooks, the body of work and the person. Devontae Adams is now in the AFC. A lot of these trades, you got A.J. Brown out of the AFC, but you got Devontae Adams, who's much more of a surefire Pro Bowler, into the AFC. I'm going to say no. This is like my 4.2 yards per carry thing. I'm going to say no only because
invited this guy to the party.
The AFC, I know, I'm such a downer. The AFC's crazy this year on every level. Individual player level and team level, it's bananas. I'm going to say no, but by God, I'm rooting for it.
I hear you. Okay, tell me this. Who's going to have the most receiving yards, not named Brandin Cooks, on the Texans?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a layup. It's Nico Collins.
Think so?
I think it's Nico Collins. Yeah, I think just everything we've seen from him out at camp, and if spreading the ball around is something that Davis, I think it's directly tied probably to the maturation of Davis Mills. But I think it's. I'd be very disappointed if it's not Nico Collins, just based on what they've got invested in Nico Collins.
What about you? Who do you think?
I mean, I was going to say Nico Collins too, but what if it's a tight end? What if it's a running back? But that being said, I think that just seeing what we saw out of Nico Collins in camp, he looks like the solid number 2 out there. So I would be surprised if it was anyone else. But it's Pep Hamilton's offense, so maybe I'll go Nico Collins, then I'll go 1B a tight end.
If there were betting odds on this whole thing, Collins would be the heavy favorite, and I think Brevin Jordan would be like a value pick. I don't know if it's going to be Brevin Jordan, but my guess is I'm getting 4-1 odds on him. I'll take him. Jordan's a great answer too, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and one of the ththings, just to kind of expound on what Hamilton's trying to do, how many times in training camp did we see, say, Pharaoh Brown, who looks like a battleship with about a 5'9" cornerback, like a John boat, covering him in coverage, or Brandin Cooks matched up with a linebacker, just plodding along. I don't remember seeing that type of mismatch hunting in offenses over the last 8 years around here. Do you remember that?
No, and I think it's exciting to see what Pep Hamilton's up to. And I think Davis Mills, a big part of that's going to be for him recognizing those mismatches quickly and at the line. But it seems like so far in camp, he's been able to do that. And he knows which mismatches he wants to go for and which ones he doesn't. But to that point, I mean, I'm excited to see because you've got a lot of different pass catchers with different skill sets out there that, could fit really nicely into this offense.
Yeah. Okay, earlier we talked about the tackles. Very nice tandem. But there are some question marks on the interior of the offensive line. What needs to change there, do you think, Sean?
Everything. I mean, I would say they clearly need to run block better. They need Kenyon Green to be the 15th overall pick in the draft. I think they need him to live up to that the status of that pick. It's been a rough training camp for him so far, just from a health standpoint. He's just coming back from the concussion. But I say everything somewhat tongue-in-cheek. I mean, Justin Britt is still going to be there in the middle if he can stay healthy, but they are changing everything outside of that. I mean, eventually it's going to be Kenyon Green and A.J. Cann at those guards. They need to solidify the interior of that offensive line to protect Davis Mills and open up some holes for Damien Pierce.
Yeah, they do. That's going to be something that bears watching for sure. Okay, something else you need to watch, players to watch. We're going to have those after the break. Offensive Texans for 2022 to keep your eye on. Don't go anywhere.
Texans Extra Points has been sponsored by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans, and by Mattress Firm, the official sleep partner of the Houston Texans.
And we're back. Earlier in the show, we asked you this. The Texans have played in every NFL stadium but 2. And the 2 are...
Las Vegas and Atlanta.
Boom, you got it.
Yeah.
So they've never played in the city of Las Vegas.
It's going to happen this year.
It's happening this year. They're going to the Raiders.
Check it off the
They
box.
played in Atlanta quite a few times, but they've not played in this new stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So those are the 2 to cross off the list, and Atlanta's coming in the next few years. So,
Next year.
Yeah. It's,
next year,
it's
yeah.
very soon, yeah.
Yep.
We'll forget about the last time we were there because that
We're trying to.
UGLY with no alibi. Okay, we've got players to watch, Gatorade players to watch on offense for the Texans in 2022. There are many, many choices, but we'll begin with you, Sean. Who is your Texan to watch offensively this year?
Mine's Brevin Jordan.
Okay.
You just listed some reasons why, but I think they're going to need to get more out of the tight end position this year, 1. 2, we know Pep Hamilton likes to accentuate the tight end position. 3, Brevin Jordan has looked good in camp this year. He's got a different body type. He joked around about having abs. And he's a guy, and aside from the joking around about the abs, he's made a lot of plays in camp too. He's looked really, really good. So yeah, I think Brevin Jordan, this whole second year class, all 5 guys have come back to camp looking like they're all going to contribute.
Yeah.
But Brevin Jordan is mine.
Good choice. I like that one. Who are you going to go with?
I feel like I should do a 1, 2, 3 just like Sean did, but I'm going to go Nico Collins.
Okay.
A, he's not a rookie anymore. I'm going to go A, B, and C just to be
That's cool.
contrarian.
Yeah, change it up.
He's not a rookie anymore. I think last year, this time, he was still getting adjusted to life in the NFL, seeing different defenses. Plus, he got injured early on, which sort of derailed the progress he was making. B, also Davis Mills is no longer a rookie. So I think it's harder when you've got a rookie quarterback and a rookie wide receiver. It's kind of nice if one of them is a more veteran player. So I think both of them, as part of their maturation process together, should do well. And I think C, of course, we've seen what he's like on the field. He's big-bodied, he's tall, he's athletic. He can use his size to his advantage, and I don't think we saw that much of that last year. We saw the potential of it, but we've seen a lot more of it in camp this year. It seems like he's got that confidence, he's got a little bit of swagger, and he knows how to sort of, edge guys out and use his body to his advantage. So I think that's really exciting to see. He's got Brandin Cooks as his #1 receiver on this team, so that should open up some things for Nico Collins. He's a really hard guy to defend. A lot of these guys out in camp have said as much.
I like it. Okay, I'm going to go with Damien Pierce. Everything since this guy was drafted, so we saw the Florida highlight tape. I mean, his helmet comes off, he doesn't care, he's going in there like a wild man. He runs with violence at Florida. He had a good May and June in OTAs. We heard good things then, but hey, the pads aren't on. You can't really tell too much. Once the pads came on, wow, in practice, you saw him going from the line into the secondary like a bolt of lightning. And then when the game was going on, when the first time he comes out there, 20 yards of pop. He's got people really, really excited with what he's done with the ball in his hands. He's not really done too much catching the ball out of the backfield, but he can do that, at least if you go by what his history says at Florida. And he's a willing pass blocker. Probably, Pep Hamilton says, just got to be more discerning at times about who to pick up, but that can happen. That's something I think he can learn. If he gets this run game going, look out. It opens up so many other things for this offense, and good things will happen for the defense because, hey, Pep Hamilton said, we got to score more points. We got to shorten the game for our defense. That makes things better all around. Listen, this has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you both coming on. I can't wait to have both of you on the show again once the real games get going. You'll
Yes,
that?
We'll be back.
I'll be back.
100%.
I'm here for a good time and a long time, just like Damien Pierce.
said.
You guys show up and you show out.
That's
So
right.
Well,
Perfect. Got that
Sean,
right, too.
Sean Pendergast, Deepi, Sidhu, thank you so much for joining us. And we appreciate all of you watching as well. We'll be here again next week. Don't you miss it. This has been Texans Extra Points. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.